My first ever experience with CHRISTeens was 10 years ago. In February of 2002, I was a freshman in college and I was performing in a skit group. And the first time I ever walked into a session at CHRISTeens was on Saturday night, and we walked through those back doors and tried to make our way down the aisles. And the thing that I remember about that is that it was so packed, there were so many kids sitting in the floor, that it was difficult for us to make our way to the stage because it was so full. And as we walked into the auditorium that night, it looked way different than it typically does for a CHRISTeens today. It's evolved so much in the past 10 years.
When I think back to CHRISTeens in the past when we were really crowded, I think about all the people that were sitting right up by the stage. The floor would just be packed with people.
One of the first few years that I was in charge of CHRISTeens, I thought the weekend was going really, really well, and I was really excited about everything that was happening. But at one point during the day, on Saturday, I made my way to the back of the auditorium, and as I rounded those classrooms, I noticed something that really bothered me, and it still really bothers me. There were kids sitting along the back wall because there were no places for them to sit.
Between the stage, the front pew, up the aisles, and when it came response time, when people actually wanted to respond to the invitation and get down front and make that known, there were so many people. You just had to step over folks and wade through them, and people getting up, and there was a lot of confusion.
And it's always really bothered me that we've invited people to come to our event, we've asked them to pay to come, and we can't even provide a seat for some of them. So for quite some time we've had this problem. We've had so many people who want to be a part of CHRISTeens that we can't provide a seat for all the people who want to be here. We've also had this sense that God is doing something very special through our church and through CHRISTeens, and we really want to take that to as many people as possible.
And as I think back on that, I just hope and pray that there wasn't someone that said, the aisle's too crowded, I won't respond. And I just hope and pray that someone didn't stay in their pew when they needed to make a response.
So as we've grappled with the idea of not having enough places to seat the people who want to be a part of CHRISTeens, and knowing that God is doing something very, very special, we've talked off and on throughout the years about whether or not we would be willing to change the venue for CHRISTeens. Back several years ago, there was a millage passed for a performing arts center to be built at the local high school, and the first time we went in there to check it out, we knew that we had to move CHRISTeens to this venue, and that's why we decided back in the fall of 2011 to move to the Russellville High School Center for the Arts for CHRISTeens 2013. And as soon as you see it, you'll know exactly why we're moving there.